All right, welcome into Sports Bit 2.0. Pauly and Teddy, Monday, March 19th. Big game breakdown, the doubleheader in the association on ESPN. And the deep dive, we get to NFL free agency. You haven't had a chance to talk about all the moves with what's been happening with the madness in a crazy week in college basketball. A 16 beats a 1. Prop updates, bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. How are you, Teddy?
I'm shattered, man. That was arguably the most epic opening weekend of the NCAA tournament that I've ever seen. I've been in Vegas 20 years. I was a college basketball fan a good 15 years before I moved out here. That was insane, dude. That was absolutely insane. Just the fourth time since seeding began in 1979 that two number one seeds fail to reach the Sweet 16. Only 7 of the top 4 seeds made it. That ties for the fewest ever. And listen to this, Pauly. On the one side of the bracket, you have a number 3 seed, a number 4 seed, a number 5 seed, a number 7 seed, another number 7 seed, a number 9 seed, another number 9 seed, and a number 11 seed. One of those teams is going to play for the national title in San Antonio on Monday, April 2nd.
Amen, brother. Here we go. It was just carnage yesterday with all the upsets. 11 years in a row, an 11 seed or higher has made the Sweet 16. Since 2010, an 11 seed has made the Sweet 16 every year but one. 2 this year with Loyola and Syracuse. 1 seeds laying less than 5 points in the second round are now 1-6 and 1 ATS. Seton Hall, Miracle 3. Times multiple 13 seeds have won in the first round this year, 2008, 2001, and 1987. With the Syracuse win over TCU, a team in the play-in game has won every year since 2011. And this one I cannot believe, only one time in the last 22 years have all 4 2 seeds made it to the Sweet 16. I can't believe it. And not only did we get a 16 over a 1 for the first time, they ran them out. A blowout, Teddy. 20-point dog wins by 20.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what's the lead story, you know? And the lead story's got to be the only 16 seed to ever beat a number 1. Look at the ticket right here. And of course, when you see a ticket like this, someone betting $800 on Maryland, Baltimore County to win straight up, you know what it is. It's an alumnus. That's what it was. The 16 seeds had gone 0 for 135 against 1 seeds prior to that. His quote, "I go with my boys to Vegas every tournament, and we did pretty well on Thursday. Me and my buddy Dan went to UMBC, so we spent all day talking up how much we were going to bet." Well, and of course, after they won, there was a bunch of guys, pulling their money in together. They went over and put a bunch of money down on the roulette wheel, and they hit their number there as well. Talk about guys running good on a Saturday night in Vegas.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to just blow them out like that. 134 bets at William Hill on the Retrievers on the money line. 6 were for $100. It was 25 to 1. The Venetian ticket, as you mentioned, they just played Albany and lost 83 to 39 a while back. They were down 9 with 8 minutes left against Vermont in the title game of the American East Tournament on their home floor, on Vermont's home floor. Vermont just beat them by 28 a month ago. It doesn't make any sense. And they scored 53 points in the second half against Virginia. And Virginia didn't allow more than 70 points in any conference game when they went 17-1, ripped right through the ACC. 16 times Virginia held opponents to 53 points or less. You figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, and when you're watching it, you saw it coming. It wasn't like, they went on this big run. They controlled that game. They weren't the only dog to control. Underdogs go 7-1 against the spread on Sunday, 5-3 straight up. Big day for the sports books yesterday. A lot of books didn't have any parlay liability left going in the last game. And that's certainly a relief for all the sports book directors out there when you have 0 parlay liability going to the late games. How about this tweet from our friend at Vegas Point Blank? John Calipari complained about his job before the tournament. Kentucky just became the first number 5 seed ever to be in a bracket where the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 seeds all went down in the first 2 rounds. So much for your whining and complaining, Mr. Calipari. You just got a relatively easy road to the Final Four.
Yep, and the big tickets didn't end there with UMBC at William Hill. Nevada was 22 to 1 in play, down 22 with less than 11 minutes left. 35 bets on that. They were plus 625 against Nevada has led for a combined 4 minutes. They're in the Sweet 16. There's other collapses you saw in play. How about Xavier up 9 with 5 minutes? Florida State was 14-1 in play. And what a call by you. Syracuse, just like you said, in the Sweet 16, and that started the upsets yesterday, Teddy. Michigan State bet up to 10 in Detroit. Couldn't win the game. 8 of 37 from 3.
Yeah, Sparty had a rough shooting game, to put it mildly. But we got to go back to Nevada against Cincinnati. Here's the tweet from Michael Lopez. According to Gambletron, which uses betting market numbers, Nevada's comeback over Cincy was more unlikely than the Patriots' comeback win over the Falcons, and it's not even close. Again, they were down 22 points with under 11 minutes to play.
Yep.
They won the game straight up. We'll give them credit. We talked about NBA talent. We talked about an NBA head coach that came through in stellar fashion for the Nevada Wolfpack on Sunday. But, I mean, we got bad beats. We haven't even talked about the bad beats yet. Sure, Nevada and Cincinnati. We got to talk Kansas, Kansas Seton Hall. Yep. That's one that put money in my pocket. What about Purdue against Butler? That's another brutal beat.
Yep. Kid misses the front of the 1-1, and Purdue had a comfortable lead late. Scramble points went Butler's way. Somehow they only lose by 3. How about what happened? So certainly Xavier money line, Cincinnati money line. How about Houston money line? Oh, the calls went Michigan's way nonstop. They're calling a foul on Houston every time down the floor there in the second half. The 5-point play, the 3-pointer, they call a foul underneath. They knock down both free throws, and then it's on. They have to own it too. I mean, the poor kid Davis. Up 2 with 4 seconds, 3 seconds. He misses both free throws. He also missed another one with 20 seconds left. And B-line, that's how you diagram a play. They hit the 3-pointer to win, the buzzer beater. A ton of action like that the last couple of days.
No question. I mean, as to the Cougs, I mean, I had the Cougars in my pocket. And all I'm saying there is no OT, no OT, no OT. You feel terrible for the kid, Davis. He hit 9 out of 10 free throws for the last 2. As soon as he bricks the first, though, you got Houston in your pocket, you're like, please brick the second, unless you have Houston money line as most of your wager. Tennessee blows it. Xavier blows it. Xavier's up 12 in the second. They were up 9 with 5:30 left. I mean, all of those tough tickets at the end. I'm not sure the losers had Tennessee. Right sides. Sharp lines are going to produce tight point spread finishes. We talked about that in spades last week, and certainly over the course of the weekend. Man, there was a lot of sweats. What a weekend, Pauly. I'm still gassed, and we're still not done. We got bad bets to talk about.
Well, Houston blew it. Xavier definitely blew it. Cincinnati, forget about it. Tennessee didn't blow it. Tennessee was down 9 with 3 minutes. Loyola couldn't make a shot, and then, of course, Custer makes it at the end. So Loyola with 2 essentially walk-off buzzer beaters to get to the Sweet 16. And how about that? You conference commissioners out there in the mid-major leagues, cut it out with the conference tournaments. Put the regular season champ in with the at-large. Loyola Chicago just made the Missouri Valley $5 million. So cut it out. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. How about some bad bets? Buffalo, Kentucky under 159 down to 154.5. Not even close. 95-75.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo was hitting from 3. Kentucky was hitting from 3. Certainly the under money there, wrong side. That game flew over the total.
Michigan State from 8 up to 10. How do you lose this game? Syracuse shot 35%, out-rebounded by 21, playing a walk-on for 5 minutes. Third game in 5 days. The game is in Detroit, and they win the game. They make one 3-pointer as well, and they win the game.
I mean, how does Michigan State lose a game where they're plus 21 on the glass, and their opponent shoots 35% and hits 1 3-pointer? Real simple. Sparty couldn't hit a shot either. 17 of 66 from the floor. And 37 of those 66 shots came from beyond the arc. They hit only 8 of them. Syracuse, that 2-3 legendary matchup zone defense, man, turned a bunch of Michigan State money into bad bets. Syracuse with the outright win.
It was my sleeper, Texas A&M, the 7th seed. Never had to sweat it. North Carolina from 6 up to 7.5. They had been 34-1 straight up in Carolina. They lose, and it was the worst loss ever for Carolina against a lower-seeded team. Never a game, Teddy, blowout.
And in both Michigan State and North Carolina, they're thinking it was the better markets. They're saying this is a home game for Sparty. It's a home game for the Tar Heels. Turns out it wasn't a home game. If it was, they didn't play very well. North Carolina blown off the floor after being bet up as high as -8 in some shops here in Las Vegas.
Bad for the books. Not a lot. They crushed it Sunday. Gonzaga, going back to Saturday, 2.5 up to 4.5. They won by 6. It was 15-0. Then Ohio State comes all the way back and takes the lead. And then Hachimura hits a 3. Gonzaga made all the plays down the stretch. They win by 6. And West Virginia, this is a bad matchup. 11.5 up to 13. They routed Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, West Virginia made as many three-pointers at Marshall as they did Marshall shots. I mean, that game was an absolute blowout from start to finish, a complete rout in that one. And the Buckeyes, that was a heck of a comeback. I actually grabbed some Ohio State in-game early when they fell down way early. I'm like, this team's going to fight back. And they did. Well, they fought back, actually took the lead in that contest. But as you mentioned, the Zags made all the plays down the stretch, and it's Gonzaga going to the Sweet 16.
Couple of props. A 15 didn't win. A 14 didn't win. We didn't have a 16 beats a 1, but a 12 can't win. A 12 was minus 260. A 12 couldn't win. 2 13s won. And Pac-12 we talked about lost, didn't win a game in the tournament. Their conference win total under. Mountain West over because of Nevada. Atlantic 10 over. And the American Athletic Conference, a major disappointment. It was 4.5 or 5-2. Wichita one and done, and Cincinnati blows it. And Houston should have beat Michigan. So a big under there in that one.
Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the games.